while since we did a one-on-one. We've talked on media days, but we haven't done a one-on-one interview in a while. So I'm super excited to welcome back the one and only Bubba Badman Jenkins. Bubba, I know the last couple fights have not gone your way, but that to me gets me even more excited to talk to you because I just know you're fired up for this next one. You're taking on Gabriel Braga on June 28th. What's your mindset coming into this fight?
The mindset is what it's got to be, man. I got to get this fight. I got to get these bonus points, and I don't feel like my season's over. I don't feel like I've done enough yet, so I got to get these bonus points and move on to the next round, move on to the playoffs. So I got to go in, got to go aggressive, and I got to go get it done. The points tell me that I got to have it. So we're gonna go get that.
And you being a veteran of PFL, I know myself and a bunch of others in your first fight leading up to the fight against Kai Kamakav, we continued to ask about, a PFL vet like yourself coming against guys like and from Bellator, and they're not being used to the PFL system. And there's going to be guys on June 28th and in the second round throughout the different weight classes who know they have to get the points, but they may get caught up in that trap. So can you kind of open up about how in game planning and with your coaching and within yourself, how you go, I know I have to go get a certain, whether it's first, second round finish, because I have to go get these points, but I'm going to do it wisely and not lose track of the game plan.
Yeah, well, some guys may be afforded that. Some guys can stick to their game plan and just let the clock melt away, and then they're going to go to the playoffs regardless. But there's some guys where there isn't a game plan. The only results of the fight matter, and really you got to get whatever it takes to get yourself up there and enough to be with enough points to be in the top four. And I don't really have the luxury to stick to a long drawn out game plan. We gotta go get a knockout or a submission very quickly.
So it's safe to say the bad man has bad intentions coming into this one.
Well, it's hard to say that because it's been a while since I fought a friend and someone that I liked, and Gabriel Braga and his family that they're in that care factor where I got a love for them. So this is strictly business. There ain't gonna be any animosity or any good trash talking and going back and forth that we normally get. This is strictly business and all about the numbers.
And what does that do for you? Because obviously we know in the fight game that sometimes friends do have to fight each other. And given how the PFL regular season format is set up, what was that like kind of just internally for you going, I have to do, like you said, it's business. I have to go up against somebody, I respect, care about, and consider a friend, but it's business.
Yeah, it just gives me that competitive understanding. Not all of mixed martial arts is about the animosity and the emotions of fighting. Sometimes we're simply competing, and I don't care if it's my son or my daughter. Sometimes I compete to be the fastest to the store or to this or to that. So when it comes to it being a friend, I have fought friends before. I've wrestled against friends, and it's just about being a better competitor at the time.
What for you, outside of obviously wins, accolades, and all that you're, looking to continue to achieve throughout your fighting career, what is so important for you to do in your career as a message to your family, to your kids? I've asked you previously just about, a bigger purpose than just wins, losses, and paychecks. What is it for you that is a message to your family, your children when you fight?
It's about me building. Each path along the way, I have built to a point of my goals and to a point of greatness and to a point of being complete. And this is a part of that process. Every failure that I have hasn't been the opposite of my success. It's been a part of it. And while I'm fighting and while we're succeeding and while we're getting lessons taught to us, I just want my family to see that I'm continuing to build and continuing to move towards who I'm supposed to be.
I love that. And, I have a ton of respect for you, not only as a fighter, but as a man and a family man as well. I told you that the first time we ever talked. Um, with this kind of, situation around this second fight, given you needing points, and how important is it for you mentally, not just for the Gabriel Braga fight, but overall, because if you have an impressive performance like you expect to on June 28th, even if the points don't land in your favor, you got to stay ready, mentally and physically, because you don't know what happens. Yeah, there might be four guys in the playoffs, but injuries, pull out, something can happen. How do you prepare yourself for, I may get the job done on June 28th, but I got to stay ready just in case that call comes.
Yeah, man, it's just about being a vet, and it's always about being ready and not having to get ready. And I think the PFL format does you a good job of that. Regardless, like you said, of the results in this one, you got to stay in a mindset to perfectly have that next fight. We want the results to be what we want for what we need to make it to the playoffs, and that's what we're looking for. If we don't fight because we're not in the playoffs, we still obviously want any kind of fight that we could possibly get with the organization. So, it's about staying ready and preparing for that.
As a longtime veteran of PFL, you've been with them for a few years now. What has it been like in 2024 with the new addition of the Bellator roster for you? What's it been like for you?
Uh, a little bit political, but I'm resilient and we in this. We're here to get our hand raised, and that's what matters.
Well, obviously, I'm not one for politics because I suck at having an opinion either which way. But I will ask this: you know, wherever you look, there's going to be critics of every promotion. Before with the purchase happening, everyone's had something to say about this new entity that is both PFL and Bellator. As someone who really has just grown up with PFL, would you say it's been enjoyable to a point where you know how often you're fighting for the most part because of the season? And outside of a few here and there media obligations talking to schmucks like myself, all you have to do is really focus on the fight. And like even this fight, you don't need to have, back and forth trash talk. You're going to fight.
Yeah, no, it keeps it very easy, keeps it simple, and it makes it very, very easy for a fighter like myself because there's a lot of things that happen in life, and when we can just focus on one thing or focus on the fight itself, and like you said, not have to worry about a lot of other things, it makes it very easy for us fighters.
What's your long-term plan? Just is it to stick here with PFL? Is it just to see what doors may be open? I know you want the gold. I know that, but is PFL? Would you say it's your forever home?
I mean, I could never say forever, um, the checks matter, and as long as they continue to show my family that I matter to the organization, then I'll be right where I need to be. But that's you know I go off of loyalty and the ability to feed my family, and that's exciting. That's important to me.
As it should be. And I think they've done a great job just in a partnership with you. And I don't know all the details, right? But I think you've been a great representative of PFL. And I want them to keep putting on more exciting fights. But I got to ask, you've got 2024 here. I know the plan, and I know it's one fight at a time. But in 2025, if business continues to move around with them, is the season something you'd be open to next year as well?
Depends on me being the champion this year. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That gets me even more pumped up for this fight. I love when you fight just because, you're not someone who has to lean into being, one side of his personality. You show it to fight, win, lose, or draw. It's just, you never seem to get thrown off. Now, I'm not backstage with you or in the locker room after a fight, so I don't know everything that's truly going on. But how do you really stay so level headed through trials and tribulations?
Uh, it's knowing that there are a lot of eyes watching. I said I got a lot of my family's watching. It's about being resilient and not letting them see you crack or cry. There are times where you feel like you've done enough to be the person that gets their hand raised, as I feel in the last fight, and you just got to be able to move forward and focus on the next round. And sometimes it doesn't go your way, or the judges don't agree with what you're putting out there. So you gotta deal with that and be able to push forward mentally. And that sometimes is where a lot of good turns to good and good and good turns to great. That's the difference between some of the great ones and the good ones.
Well, for my money, you're one of the great ones without a doubt. PFL has this season tournament. Obviously, we've talked about it. So, what's it like for your mindset? Because I know fighters always want their get back, right? But when you focus on, I gotta get the points, I gotta get to
Oh,
the playoffs. How much do you spend time thinking like, man, I want a Kai Kamaka rematch, or I want Jesus Pinedo rematch? Do you think about certain opponents given the season format, or you just let the cards fall as they may?
oh no, you think about it. Absolutely. I'm hoping to not only get this victory and win up in the victories with the points that I need, but I'm hoping it puts me right back in front of Kai Kamaka. For no other reason than I felt it went my way the first time. So, the biggest thing is to, make sure that I am in the place where I can continue to compete, make sure I'm in a place where, my family knows that, we're all in on this and I'm excited for anyone that lands across the bracket from me.
All right, I was trying to get out without embarrassing myself, but I'm gonna do it. During media week for your fight against Kai, I told you I was gonna ask you a basketball question. Totally did not ask you about a basketball question because I blanked and you called me out. I appreciate that, by the way, because I that means you actually listen when when the guys are talking. But I'm gonna ask one now. You've always in the couple times we've talked, you've mentioned like there should be an MMA, charity basketball game. Do you have maybe 3 to 4 guys who are in MMA that you would put on your squad in a basketball game?
Ah, ooh, yeah. Let me see. Uh, how many do I need? Make it a three. Let me play in the big three.
All right,
And
big 3. I had to
yeah,
come with a
because
good one, man.
because I don't got four other players that can play with me.
Big 3 is
Um, yeah. So I'm gonna give Jamal Hill his revenge because the last time we balled together, he got hurt. So, I ain't no bad luck, Chuck. So I'm gonna put him on my team so we can get the chip and deal with those ailments. And we played against I forgot, but I think he was a 70 pounder, 185 pounder, but he was pretty good on that celebrity basketball team. But he was in the UFC. But I can't put him on my team because he's not a friend of mine. He's more just an acquaintance. He's a fighter who fights. But he was probably the best basketball player that they had. But I can't. Yeah, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the mouth. I'm gonna go with Kevin Highlands. He was on my team. We had some good offense and defense. Had some things going back and forth, and he would let me be the offensive guy. He just play some good defense. So it'd be good to play together.
I'm a little offended. I thought you might flip the script and say, "Screw it, I'll just take you, Mike. It'll be me, you, and Jamal Hill against everybody else." Yeah, look, if you don't think I can ball, that's fine. I appreciate that. I just had to
I
show you
see.
show you.
I haven't seen it. We haven't gotten together. And you specifically told me in MMA. So
That's true.
I was
That's true. That's true.
I
I
was
did
thinking
say
of
that.
fighters.
Well, let me ask this though, because I'm a huge fan. I know we're talking about somebody else in a different organization. I don't really care, but how is Jamal Hill as a hooper?
He's decent baller. There ain't no scholarship athletes out there, but we're better than just playing defense.
And multi-sport athletes. I think fighters don't
Yes,
get enough credit for their athletic abilities.
the sport itself is a multi-sport
It
sport.
really is. It
You
really
know what I
is.
mean? You
I mean,
gotta be able to kickbox, wrestle, jujitsu, karate, all that good stuff a little bit.
I look at, the current NBA playoffs and I hear everybody clowning Anthony Edwards because he says he could be the best at everything. I'm like, now this guy's one of the best in the NBA. He could definitely be pretty good at a few other sports. So
Absolutely.
I love that. And obviously, I love the fact that you're back in here competing for the PFL and the PFL Smart Cage on June 28th, live from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Bubba Jenkins, it's really good to catch up with you. I always enjoy talking to you, man. Maybe one day I'll make the cut. Maybe one day I'll actually be there in person to cover your fight. So that would start getting the ball rolling. But you're facing Gabriel Braga on June 20th. I can't wait for this fight. And thank you for making the time for me today. And all the best. Can't wait to see you fight on June 20th live on ESPN, ESPN Plus.
No doubt, my man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.